ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Daily Dimensions podcast. As always, I am your host, Smitty, back with another one, man. And I'm excited to bring you this episode. This one is quite literally 31 plus days in the making, this episode. What I'm here to talk to you about today is the month of January that I had. So starting last year, during the month of January, I go into a period of fasting. And last year I did it for a week. I said, let me fast for a week. Let me knock this out. And the reason I do it is I want to set the tone for my year, and I want to be intentional about my walk with God and making that what leads the rest of my year. You know, I feel like if I dedicate that beginning of my year to just being so locked in on my faith walk, that it sets the tone for the rest of my year and the rest of my life, really. So last year I did it for a week, and that was hard. And this year came around and I was like, okay, I'm going to do it for another 7 days. But by the end of 7 days, if I feel like I'm strong enough to do it, I'm going to do it for the whole month of January. I'm going to do it for 31 days. And by God's will, not mine, I was able to do it for 31 days, man. So from the way it worked, sun up to sundown, I did not eat. Broke fast that night whenever the sun went down. And we're going to get into it as to like the meaning behind it, the ups and downs within fasting, the results, all those different things of it. So it's not going to be a super long episode today. We'll see. I'm not intending for it to be a super long episode today, man. But I was like, I got to share this. I got to let people know, because fasting is one of them things that like I consider it to be the secret sauce, like in your faith walk and in that walk with God and deepening your spiritual experiences, right? And getting focused and getting locked in. Fasting is the best way to do that. Like I encourage everybody, if you're already walking with God and you feel like you hit a wall or you stuck or anything like that, fasting. So what is spiritual fasting? The answers to that can be found in Psalm 35:13, and then in Matthew 23:12, and in Matthew 6, verse 17 through 18. I don't have my Bible with me because it's on the phone that's shooting this other angle. It's there. I'm looking at it right now. And I ordered one on Amazon, like a physical one, because the other physical one I had is falling apart. And it's supposed to come in today. So bear with me now. So I can't read it to you, but I got the verses. You can go, do your due diligence on that. But essentially what is fasting? Like it's abstaining from food for spiritual purposes. And it's a humbling of your soul, but also a revelation that came to me. Like sometimes these revelations be something that's so straightforward and right in front of your face, but it's like, dang, I didn't even think about it like that. But I was talking to my brother Patrick, and I was telling him how I'm fasting and all these different things. He was encouraging me. And as we were talking, he was like, it's like, it's denying your flesh. And I was like, wait a minute. Boom, like brain blast, Jimmy Neutron type stuff. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, it is. We throw fasting on it. And it's like, yes, fasting, cool. But like fasting sounds so deep and like, oh my God, you're fasting. But like really all fasting is denying your flesh. And for me, I'm stepped away from food. Like you can fast from a lot of things, but one of the things I fasted from 3 things, but one was food. And from sun up to sundown, I didn't eat. And like your body wants food, like your flesh wants the food. It needs the food. Like you have to have the food, and you have to deny your flesh and literally say like, no, I'm in charge right now. Not my body, not my flesh, not the natural desires, not anything like that. I'm in charge, not my flesh. And when you can have that standpoint with your flesh from food, you can have that with anything else in your life, because we desire more than just food, but we have to be in control of that, right? Our desires can't lead us. Our urges can't lead us. The things we yearn for can't lead us. We have to be in control of that. And we can feel a lot of different things. We can want a lot of different things. We can desire a lot of different things. But at the end of the day, we can't be desire led, right? We got to be in control. We got to be spirit led. And if your body's saying, I want one thing, but your spirit is saying, I need another, who are we going to listen to? And oftentimes we listen to the body, we listen to the flesh, we listen to the desires, and not what our spirit needs. And we become these people who are so fleshly filled, but spirit deficient. And fasting will really fill your spirit back up. Like, it's a beautiful thing. So yeah, it's quite literally denying your flesh. And like I said earlier, why I do it, to start my year with intention and set the tone for the rest of my year. I did it last year and it yielded great results. And in doing it this year, I'm like, I got to go deeper, man. I got to keep doing it in 31 days, man. And it was challenging on so many levels. Mentally it's tough. The first few days are really, really hard because your body's adjusting. You're used to eating 3 square meals a day. You throw some snacks in there, whatever you be doing, you're used to that. And then it's like all of a sudden, boom, you're not eating anything. And there's that shock, and it was even tougher for me. And, they always say you should like consult your primary care, whoever person before you start fasting to that level, because everyone's medical situation is different. And my medical situation here is documented with like, I hurt my leg and then I have blood clots and whatever it may be. So they give you blood thinners when you're on blood clots, and like not eating, but also being on blood thinners is like a weird combination, because I'll be feeling like mad anemic. I'll be cold. I'll be cold, especially down here in this basement, in this studio. I'll be cold. So it was different. I was lightheaded a lot. It was a lot of different things. I did not contact any doctor. I was like, God's going to give me the strength to do it. And that's it. I'm not contacting nobody. We're just going to make it happen. And I'm still here today to tell the story. So it must have worked, but it was challenging on so many levels. You're tired, you get headaches, you get lightheaded. And we're in that point of the year, right, where every day gets longer. So the time in which I could eat, because I went off the clock, like whatever technical time sundown was, not when I could see the sun disappeared, but whatever technical time sundown was, that's when I ate. And in the beginning, it was like, okay, we could do this. This is smooth. It's a little earlier in the day. It's still wintry type time. Like we're good to go. And every day got longer and longer and longer, quite literally, because that's what's happening right now as the seasons are changing. Like it's getting longer and longer. So the time I was able to eat on January 1st versus the time I was able to eat on January 31st was like an hour different almost, it felt like. And I'm like, yo, it's like every day I just got to wait longer. Every day I have to starve myself longer. Every day I have to deny myself longer. So although it got easier over time, it got more difficult over time. And there's sometimes I'm sitting there and my family will tell you, I'm just sitting there looking at the clock. I'm just like, it's almost time. I can eat dinner again. I'm just looking at the clock. And I would even go as far as to, I would cook my food, right? Because I'm a cooker. I don't really be eating, like ordering stuff like that. I cook all my meals. And I would cook the food and the food would be done. And then I still got 30 minutes left to wait. So I'm just sitting at the kitchen table and my family looking at me. I'm just sitting there looking at the clock, just waiting for 30 minutes to eat the food I just cooked. Cause I'm like, yo. And then when you cooking it, you can't even taste the food to see if, like you can't even taste it to see if you need to add, you just got to go off what you know. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right. And it's staring you in the face and you just can't have it. And you got to deny yourself, man. And I also reached out to one of my friends who is Muslim, and obviously a big part of their faith is they fast for extended periods of time. And I reached out to him early on to get advice. I'm like, bro, how do you navigate this? Like, what are some tips and tricks? How do you make that happen? And one thing I thought about that was really cool is that, like, although someone can have a different faith than you, you can still learn from people. There's still something that you can take from not necessarily their religion, but take from their strength, and I borrowed from his strength. And I'm like, bro, how do you do this? And it helped, bro. And it was amazing. And one thing about fasting is you try to be discreet about it. You don't want to draw mad attention to yourself. And that's in those verses I gave you earlier. But you don't want to be walking around everywhere talking about, yo, I'm fasting, yo, I'm fasting. So only certain people knew I was fasting. And you got to go around and just be like, yeah, I'm good. I'm chill. I'm not starving right now. I don't got a headache. I'm not lightheaded right now. I'm not suffering right now. I'm good. And you get through it, man. But it was quite literally every day got longer and longer. The challenges got harder and harder. I'm starving. I'm losing weight. I got headaches. I'm anemic. I'm staring at the clock every day. I'm like, yo, I don't know how I'm going to do this. So at times that process was grueling. But not only did I fast from food, right? Sun up to sundown, did not eat, but I also fasted from anything sexual, right? So that was also a challenge, but you gotta stay away from that. Like no people, no video, no whatever. Like you gotta stay away from that. And that in itself was hard, a little easier than food, but still just as hard. Because again, flesh, your flesh wants what it wants. It speaks out, it cries out sometimes, and you got to be like, hey, listen, flesh, shut up. All right, I'm in charge right now. Y'all ever seen Hustle and Flow when she grabbed the steering wheel? She said, I'm in charge. Some of y'all will get that. But you got to tell yourself, tell your flesh, I'm in charge. And there's something bigger at stake right now. This is about my spirit. And it's also the other thing I fasted from was like people, right? There is people in my life that I didn't need to be talking to at the time. So I was like, let me stop. Let me take that step back. Like respectfully, I don't need to be talking to you right now. I'm locked in. I'm focused. I can't be distracted from this. So those three things all together, food, sex, and people was rough. It was rough, man. Cause you feel limited on all ends. And then you face different situations here and there throughout the month that make fasting even harder. Right? Because all the things I fasted from are also like coping mechanisms, like negative coping mechanisms. You know, if you feel a certain way, you eat something. If you feel a certain way, you go lay with somebody. If you feel a certain way, you go talk to somebody. And so then when you get hit with adversity through that month, it's like, dang, I can't go to my negative coping strategies. I have to really lean on God this entire time. Like I can't take it into my own hands. I got to put it in his, because if I take it in my own hands, I'm gonna fail. And the whole month I'm like, yo, I cannot fail. I refuse to fail. I'm not trying to disappoint God. I'm not trying to mess up. I got to get this done. I got to be locked in. I can't fail. Like I can't lose right now. And on my whiteboard in my room, it's a calendar whiteboard, and every month I have whatever the slogan is, the message, the motto for the month in January. So I write the month and then I write whatever the slogan is. In January, I wrote January, whoop Satan's ass. And I'm like, yo, we got to whoop Satan's ass, excuse the French. And I'm like, if I lose this, if I don't make it to the end of these 31 days, I'm gonna feel like I didn't whoop him. And I gotta whoop him. And you gotta put your foot on Satan's neck sometimes. You gotta let him know who's in charge. And it's not him. He loses every time. What Franklin said. Franklin Saint said, he said, you lose every time you go to war with him. And I'm the one who's got to pay. You know what I mean? So you got to keep winning them battles, man. And you win them battles by leaning on the spirit and not your flesh. You got to starve your flesh sometimes. So if you're someone who's looking to dive deeper in your spiritual walk, looking for some new revelation, looking for like a new experience, whatever it may be, looking to just figure some things out where you feel like you hit a wall, fasting, I'm telling y'all, is that secret sauce that will get you over the hump. It's absolutely necessary. It's vital. It's key. It changes everything. They say prayer changes everything, but prayer and fasting together like will really change everything. Let me see if I missed anything. Did I miss anything? Oh, some of the results, right? God spoke to me in a lot of different ways. And some of those I'm still trying to like discern and figure out. I had a lot of dreams. I had like 3 or 4 dreams about specific people, and I still don't understand half of them. But also other people in my life spoke words to me that I'm like, man, where is that coming from? Like, that's powerful, you know, and said different things, prophesied over me. God spoke to me in a lot of different ways outside of dreams. And not only was he speaking to me, but I was in a place to listen, you know, and a big thing about fasting is it puts you in a place to listen, to hear from God, you know, because you're diligently seeking him. And when you seek him, you will find him. He's not a hard man to find. Like what Coach Prime said, I'm not hard to find. God is not hard to find, you know, but neither is trouble. And we got to stay away from that. But yeah, he spoke to me in so many different ways. But not only that, he gave me the strength to make it through, because I promise you, I was about ready to fail several times, Several times I was about ready to fail. It's only him that got me through it. I'm not strong enough on my own. Like, I might be, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I'm not strong enough on my own. I can't do it on my own. And on top of that, provision came and opportunities came. So like, February has been a really busy month for me, and it's almost over, but it's been a very busy month. I'm finally at a point this week, as I'm recording this episode, that I don't got nothing to do this week. And that's beautiful, because every week I've had a lot to do. I've been booked and busy, so I had 2 speaking engagements, a webinar, mad appointments, meetings with people and all over the world, just different states and whatnot. Like, I've been doing a lot this month, and I'm blessed. But I know those opportunities are coming, one, because of the consistency and the obedience to what God has laid on my heart, but also diligently seeking him and fasting and prayer and leaning into this. Like, I've had the same number of engagements this month that I had my entire first year of speaking professionally. Like, my first year as a speaker, I only spoke 3 places and only 1 paid me. And this month alone, I spoke in 3 places, and everyone got me right. Everyone got me right. So, we blasting off. We blasting off, and we're doing a lot of different things. We're making a lot of things happen. And I appreciate y'all sticking with me on this journey, because y'all have seen the growth. And even people who have met me mid-journey still see the growth. And there's people who support me and reach out to me, and I don't always hit people back. And I'm trying so hard to get better at that. But sometimes I'll be in an emotional space where, like, I'm just overwhelmed by everything, that when I see someone text me or see someone call me, I'm like, I just can't even, I don't have the energy to answer that right now. Even though it's a good thing. It don't even be bad things. It'd be people coming to tell me something amazing, and I'm like, I don't even got the emotional capacity to hold that right now. So I was talking to somebody about it, and I'm like, yo, I got to set designated days to really, like, hit people back, because if not, I don't want people to feel like I'm ignoring them. And I'm sorry, like, I'm not ignoring you. I just don't be having the energy. Even yesterday, I took a personal day. This episode you listening to was supposed to be out on Monday. We doing it on Tuesday, because I'm like, yo, I got to take a personal day. So I'm gonna start hitting people back. I'm sorry if I hit you back a week later. But yeah, so fasting, we did it for 31 days. I encourage everybody, get into fasting. Start with a day, then make it 3 days. Really, I want everyone to do it for at least a week. You do it for a long time, you start to really feel it. Like, you do it for 1 day, everybody could do it for a day. Everybody could probably do it for 2 days. But once you get past 3 days, you're like, yo, God, I really need you to help me get through this, because what am I doing right now? I'm walking through the wilderness, and I need somebody to hold my hand. So it yields great results. Again, the verses for y'all to go look at is Psalm 35:13, Matthew 23:12, and then also Matthew chapter 6, verse 17 through 18. And lock in, man. This is a year where we're not playing no games with our faith walk. We're not playing no games spiritually. We're not playing no games with our purpose, our destiny, our life, our fulfillment, whatever it may be. This is the year. There's no more excuses. Some of us got goals from 2019 that we still trying to achieve right now, but we had a lot of reasons or excuses to not get them done. We gonna lock in right now. There's no more excuses. This is it. Make it happen. Whatever it is you're trying to do, whatever it is you're trying to be, whoever you're trying to become, whatever goals you have for your future, include that prayer and fasting, and I promise you, you're going to get there. So until next time, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. I said it wasn't going to be a long episode. How long is this? 18 minutes, 19 minutes. We good. Y'all, we've had longer. So until next time, I love y'all, man. Peace.